There is something really exciting in Mendix 11 and I will show it today to you. So this is Studio Pro and these are Markdown files I directly edit within the Studio Pro. And in this video today I will show you how to build this yourself. So what are Studio Pro extensions? Studio Pro extensibility allows you to enhance the tool you use every day as a developer with your own ideas. In this video we will keep it practically. I won't go into all details, that will come in later videos, but it's good to know that Mendix currently supports .NET extensions and web extensions. However, the .NET extensions are no longer actively developed. Web extensions are developed with TypeScript and React. Today's goal is to build a Mendix Documenter extension. And you will learn 1. How to create an extension from scratch. 2. How to configure the extension so you can use custom document types. And 3. How to implement an open source library from React into your extension. So let's start. Go to the Mendix documentation online. Run the npm create command with a terminal. Now the project will be scaffolded based on the npm package. It will start with some questions. For now, fill in something. I will skip the last 2 questions as Maurits has another explainer video about that. For this project we will use Mendix editor. That is a React package, open source available and easy to use for editing and showing Markdown. So for the sake of this video I have coded already the whole extension and I walk you through the code in my editor. So let's go to the editor. You can find in the documentation more information about the general setup of a Mendix extension. What we can find here is a folder called main. In this folder you have the index.ts and here you define your basic outline what your extension wants to do. I have added this block of code, register markdown type, where I define through the Studio Pro API a custom block document and I register a new document type. This handles a markdown type and I have specified these constants in a separate constant file. I will open that up. So that's what you can find here. So you define a system name for your new custom document file, and then you define 2 icon types as a base 64 image string. Don't make it too big, too long. The lighter the icon is, the faster it loads. Also I have defined a types file in which I have defined the storage pattern of my document. In this case, the Markdown file is just a content string, but you can make more complex document types as well. Back to the index file. So we have defined the type, we have defined a readable name, a readable type name, so Markdown, and I have defined a default content setup, which is blank. Next is I have registered a Markdown editor as tab. You can have multiple types of editors like a pop-up, but in this case I want a full screen tab. So for this document type I have defined an editor entry point, which is the editor. It's a tab and there are 2 icons defined in this editor. Okay, let's drill down to the editor script. So this is the main UI entry point. It imports some basic stuff. Then here we import the real Markdown editor canvas. And I have imported 2 styles, CSS files. Within the component we create a root And within strict mode, we show a Markdown canvas here and add parameters as Studio Pro and the document ID. Let's go to the component itself. So here we have the component in the index.tsx. This component is basically the Mendix editor and and some magic to it to make it work as an extension. So like the basic setup, how to do Mendix editors, you can find in the documentation. What is important here is, well, we export the Markdown canvas, and here we need to have some logic to load the data from the blob type in Mendix Studio and set the Markdown in the editor as well. So when you open up a file. So that's what we do here. We run the Studio Pro custom blob documents and then get document by ID, and then the content of the document will be shown in the editor. Also, when we save or when we change text within the editor, I want to store it or update the content of the blob document. So that's what we do here. We update the document content, and in this way the document can be saved manually within Mendix, but now the content is written down in the blob document. So here we define the plugins for the editor, and here we return the real Mendix editor. Nothing special here, but you will get the idea. So this is the basic setup for how you make the extension. Now there are two more important things to show you. One is the connection between the build helper, the build extension, and the manifest. And the second one is the styling. So let's go into the manifest. Here you define the entry points. So you have a main, that's the main GS. It will be compiled from this index.ts in the main folder. And from the UI, I have now built one UI, but you can, in your extension, configure multiple UI entry points. I have said, okay, the editor is the editor.js. In the helpers, well, this is a file you probably don't want to touch too much. But one thing I did is to add a copy CSS plugin, because I found out that CSS and styling in an extension is in default only limited to React CSS props, but you can add this functionality to have raw CSS, but then you need to extend your building flow. So that's what I did here. And then to the build extension. So this file is the main building configuration where we have the output directory, your app directory if you have defined one. And here again we have the entry points. What I did is also in this plugin list I added the bundle CSS plugin to combine all the CSS within the project in a style.css and inject that into the final product in the final extension. I think I explained everything. So now we can run npm run build. So we bundled up two CSS files into style.css and now it's done. So we open up Studio Pro, run app, synchronize. So the extensions are refreshed and now I can add a new document and a Markdown file. Project plan. This is my first MD file in Studio Pro. Save. and open it again. So this is it for now. Your first Mendix extension. You find the code as a GitHub repo available in the comments. Please follow me for more information like this.